So, hello everybody, this is Con on the Road. In today's episode, we'll be tackling another one of many questions posed by Gary earlier. This time, I'll be touching on the subject of minimum speed limits. My take on this, whether it's maximum speed limit or minimum speed limit, right? The idea of a speed limit, okay, imposed arbitrarily on a given road, it oversimplifies. It is an overly simplistic solution. You see, the thing is that, right, speed, okay, people say speed is the cause of accidents. I dispute that. The real problem is the differential in speed, okay? Let's take an example. On a highway where the traffic is averaging, say, 100 kilometers per hour, right? A car that is crawling along at 50 kilometers per hour is just as dangerous as another one barreling down at 150 kilometers per hour. I'll explain why. Now, in the case of the faster car, of course, you know, as he or she is catching up with slower traffic, trying to pass slower traffic, he or she will be pulling out all sorts of aggressive maneuvers, trying to pass traffic on it. And in that you know, in his or her process of weaving in between traffic, the chances of causing an accident is extremely high. But what about that car who's holding back traffic at 50 kilometers per hour? You see, what happens is that this car behind is doing 50 kilometers per hour, right? Everybody else coming at his or her back at 100 kilometers per hour will suddenly have to either slow down or swerve to avoid him or her. And when you slow down, okay, let's say further back, it creates a cascading effect to the cars at the back, where, you know, cars behind would then have to slow down because this one car in front is not speeding up. So at the end of, so what could result? Potential traffic jam or potential accident, okay? All because one car in front is holding traffic back at the back. So because you see, the problem with speed limits is this. When you set a speed limit, okay, first, it does not take into account the traffic conditions that can change from time to time. And second thing, you take the responsibility of determining a reasonable cruising speed at that point in time from the driver, because it's no longer the driver's responsibility to decide or to make that judgment call, say that, okay, at this time, okay, 60 kilometers per hour is a reasonable speed, so I'm going to drive at 60. No, that driver now will only see that, oh, speed limit now 110, I'm just going to follow 110 only. Okay, so you are taking one item of responsibility away from the driver. So the solution to all this, okay, if you ask me, is not about imposing an arbitrary number of, say, okay, you should be traveling at no faster than 110 kilometers per hour, or you should be traveling at a minimum speed of 70 kilometers per hour. No, because, say, what happens with a traffic jam? If there's a traffic jam, right, everybody will be violating your minimum speed requirement, your minimum speed limit. So the correct approach, and I acknowledge it's not one that is easy to enforce, okay, you have to scrap the whole idea of speed limits. So rather than impose a arbitrary number that tells you, okay, you should be driving minimum 100 kilometers per hour or maximum 100 kilometers per hour, why not, okay, impose an anti-road hogging act and couple that with a minimum follow distance rule? So what this means is that, let's say in a scenario where somebody is doing 110 kilometers per hour on a highway, okay, if he or she sees a faster car coming from the back, he or she has the driver will have the responsibility to either speed up, move aside, or get a fine. Conversely, if let's say you are coming from the back towards onto a faster car, onto a slower car, okay, you need to maintain a certain minimum follow distance whilst signaling to the driver in front. I propose using your right signal, okay, to politely ask the driver in front to move aside, okay, and then only overtake. If you encroach the car in front at too short a distance, you get fined, okay? It's as simple as that. So what this does is that this encourages both sides of drivers, okay, the slower ones to watch their back and the faster ones to give the driver in front some room. So when both sides of drivers learn to give each other breathing room, you reduce the chance of accident. Okay, so we have reached the end of this particular video. The takeaway from this this particular episode is to drive safe. If you are especially when you're on the highway, do watch your front, do watch your back. If there are faster cars behind you, do speed up or move aside to let them pass. If you are coming to slower traffic, do keep a distance, give them some breathing room, and pass them when it's safe to do so. All right, so that's it from me for this episode. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.